In chapter 9 of Joshua, we see the other kings being against Joshua and the Israelites. Gibeonites respond to a ruse. That's what we hear. They wanted to make a treaty with them. Gibeonites pretend that they had come from afar to trick the Israelites so that they would capture them. We see here a mistake that Joshua did was that Joshua and the Israelites made treaty with the Gibeonites without inquiring of the Lord. You can never do something like that. You should never do such a thing without consulting the Lord. Most of the things fail. We entertain enemies in our lives because we do not consult the Lord, and we think that everyone has good intentions as we have. It is always good to ask God, what do you think about it? What should you do in this situation? How should it be? Do not trust anyone, because an enemy can come disguised as a friend. The lesson we learn here is that you should never sign a treaty or make a covenant with anyone before we go and inquire from the Lord, because you could enter into an agreement with an enemy. What happened between the Israelites and Joshua, what they did, and these Gibeonites, without knowing, because they cheated them and they didn't know, and maybe they had pity and they accepted. So never, whatever you do, whatever you want to commit yourself to, whoever you want to do a covenant with, never sign any covenant without consulting the Lord. They even ratified it by an oath, which is very, very dangerous. That is what the word of God tells us. If you make an oath by the Lord, you can't break it, even if it involves your enemy, because the wrath of God can come against you. And that is why the Israelites would not break this covenant again with the Gibeonites. Once they discovered that they cheated them, they could do nothing, because they had already taken this oath, this covenant with them. They had already signed an agreement. And we know that also the oath has consequences on both sides, on whoever it is, on your side, on the other part, on the two parties. It has consequences. And so the Gibeonites will not be released, but they were subdued to cutting wood and fetching water. Sometimes you can sign a covenant that can make you a slave. You can enslave yourself without knowing. That's why it's very important to ask God what you would do, what would happen in this situation. But the good thing is that they provided for the needs of the altar of the Lord, which we see that even evil can turn for the good for those who love God. Like we have a song, for to those who love God, who are called in His plan, everything works out for good. That is the word of God. That is what the word of God says. To those who love God, even evil can turn against the good, but we should learn always to consult the God of heaven and earth in whatever we do.